Hello everyone, good evening. This is Lena with Especially Made for Me. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be working on a wreath, of course, just kind of keeping it up with the theme for the summer. We're going to be doing blueberries. I hope you like blueberries. So we're going to be using a sign to put on, and I might actually hold off on putting that off depending on the time, but I will show you how I put these on. We're going to be using a blue wreath form with the blue stems already attached. And this is our Deco mesh that we're using. It's metallic. So we're going to be using the blue to match our blueberry. And we have, of course, the lime, because we know we do have the little leaves and we want to match our sign. So I've already cut some of the mesh, and I still need to cut some of the ribbon. So we'll do that together. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm going to go ahead and change the view of the camera so that we can go ahead and start working on the wreath. And again, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you are. If there's any comments, please go ahead and do any comments, any questions as I go along. I'm going to try to read them. I put my glasses on and it's a little bit further away, so I'm going to do my best to answer the questions. But if I don't get to all the questions while we're here live, then I will make sure to answer them after the video. Okay, so I'm going to leave both cameras up. I'm just going to move this one out of the way so that you can still see my face, even from at a distance. I hope you can still see that okay. But I want to make sure that you can see the actual work table as I work on the wreath. Okay, first thing to do, as always, is to open up our stems. That way we can go ahead and work on putting our Deco mesh on our wreath form. And it'll be all set up and ready for us to work. I'm gonna also show you the cuts on the Deco mesh because we're gonna be doing ruffles today. We did the woodland ruffle last week. We're gonna do ruffles this week. And we've already practiced doing some poofs, and we've done some curls. We've done all sorts of different things. So we're going to keep on doing something different every once in a while. These are the ribbons we're going to be using today to match again with our blueberry theme. So, going the wrong way here. So we have the little squares with the lime. And we have blue squares. Okay, we have the lime ribbon and blue ribbon. So we have plenty of ribbon to go around for our actual wreath, and hopefully we'll also get to do a bow. I know I've been saying that the last couple of times, and we haven't gotten to a bow because I'm trying to not make it too long of a video, but I want to make sure I have plenty of instruction for you to make for making the wreaths, and then I can always do a bow video separately. So our Deco mesh is cut. I have it cut at 30 inches. So I'm going to show you how I do that, and I'm going to go ahead and move the wreath form out of the way. Okay. Now I'm using a mesh roller, but you can use like something that you would use for like paper towels and hang it on there so that way it won't roll away and it'll stay put. You could also use a easy bow maker machine. Contraption, so like I almost said machine, so that you can just basically hold it in place. And that's basically what these are for. What I'm doing here is actually cutting them together. I have the blue on the bottom and the lime green on the top. You could do them separately, as you know, kind of have some samples here. I did do them separately, and then I did it together, which is what's on the bigger pile there. The thing to kind of think of is to make sure that you have your numbers already preset. Usually, I mentioned on previous videos, and I always want to make sure that I mention that at every video, when you use a wreath form that's already has its own stems attached, it should have 10 on the bottom or the outside. And I'll show you on here with this one what I mean by that. There's actually 3 little rims in different levels. The outside is the one further out, and then you have the inside, which is the one that's usually higher up. Okay, so on these, on the outside there's 10, and there should be 8 on the inside. So that's what we mean by that. So as long as you have those, then you'll know for sure that you'll need a total of 18 cuts if you're going to be cutting your mesh. Of course, for the poof method, you don't have to cut it at all. But if you are going to be doing a style like the curl or the ruffle or the woodland ruffle and so on, and you have to do cuts, you would have to keep those numbers in mind. Now, if you use your like a separate frame where it's just the metal and you have to use chenille stems, and you can decide from there if you want to use the same count or if you want to do a different count depending on your design. It's just different ways of doing it, but there's no rules. Just gotta know what you have, so that way you know what you gonna be working with. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll this out of the way, so I had already cut everything that I think we would need, and I'm gonna get some of these out of the way so you'll be able to see a little bit better. And we're gonna get started doing our ruffles and putting things together, and then we'll be cutting some ribbon. Okay, I'm actually going to move these out of the way. So how are we doing out there today? Is anybody having to deal with rain? I know there's been a lot of rain on and off. Okay. Don't see any comments, so hey, I'm not having to read them, which is not good. I wanted to practice being able to see. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and do ruffles. Now, depending on how you would like to do your design, again, there are no rules. You would the decision making would be, do you want to have all of your greens on the outside or on the inside, or vice versa, or do you want to interchange them on the outside and not so much on the inside? You kind of can plan all that out. I don't plan that far in advance, or I shouldn't say it that way. I don't like getting that detailed when I'm starting out. I just kind of cut the pieces and I'm going to need, and I go from there and I come up with a design as I go. Sometimes if I've already worked a design that I really absolutely love, like when I do my sunflower wreath, I already know exactly what I need, how I need it. So that's a little bit different because you're doing a specific design. But with these, really not much thought process other than making sure you have the cuts that you need. So to make the ruffle, we're going to go ahead and put our hands on our Deco mesh and find our middle, and just basically squeeze, and you're going to walk it in, just kind of bring it on in. Okay, you could always use something to kind of keep it from rolling underneath or rolling out. Okay, and it should look like so. Looks pretty cute. Let me hold it the other way so you'll be able to see the form of it. So when doing the ruffle, it should look just like this. If you leave it this way, it can look just like a flower, Some say it looks like a butterfly, but that's what the design would be. We're going to hold it in the middle, and we're going to find, and I'm going to turn this around so you could actually see it a little bit better. We're going to find our stems, put it here in the middle, and we're going to pull to make it tight, and then give it one twist, and that is all it takes to keep it in place. Okay, from there you can shape it if you want it to be all the way around, so it'll be nice and rounded, which normally we would want. That makes it look better. And then you leave your stem ready for when you put the next item on your wreath. Okay, so that's how it will look like. Okay, now another thing that you can do, let's see, I'll go to my blue here. You can cut one set of your mesh one length, like say for example, like I cut them all at 30. If you want one to be more noticeable than the other, the one that you want more noticeable will be the longest. So you could do 30 for your one that you want more noticeable, and then do 20 for the other. Or if you want them both to be this the same visibility, then you don't have to worry much about that. I keep doing that. I want to make sure you see what I'm doing. Here we go. So we're gonna get our stems. We have it pinched in the middle, and let me show you what that one looks like with the blue. Still looks just like a pretty flower. And this is what they call this, called the ruffle method. We're gonna put it in between our two stems. Again, we just kind of go one up, one down. We're gonna pull to tighten and give it a twist. Okay. From here, we're gonna go ahead and position our Deco mesh. It is very forgiving. I always say that because it really, there's no wrong way. You just position it where you want it. One tip would be to make sure that when you have two together, just kind of make them go up, so that way they're kind of pushing on each other and they help each other stand up. Okay. So I'm going to be interchanging them, and then we'll see where we go next from there. Again, no right or wrong way of doing this. It's based on your preference. Excuse me. Finding our middle. I'm going to walk our fingers through the middle and gather it. And then we're going to pinch it in the middle. So it's still looking like a little flower, a little butterfly. Go to our wreath form. Find our two pieces of stems. I'm going to go right in the middle of that. Pull and twist, and then we get to position our mesh so that'll be all nice and rounded. Gather our corners, our ends, and that is pretty much it on that. And then make sure that your other side that was previously put up, we kind of pull up so that way they're kind of pushing against each other, helps them to stand up. Okay. Okay, so earlier I was talking about cutting one size longer than the other. I was saying that because you could put one on the bottom and then do another set. Like if we wanted to, once we do a full row in our outside and inner side, we can go ahead and cut smaller pieces to put on top and make those an opposite color so that way it'll stand out. So in this case, since this will be a blueberry themed wreath, what I would do if I wanted to do that is make all of the bottom ones bigger with the green, and then do your blue ones, because that's your blueberry, a little bit smaller. Cut it like maybe at a 20-inch length, and then you still do the same ruffle and put it on top of the green, and you'll still be able to see some of that green like it's the leaves, and you'll see your blue as your blueberry, but you'll be able to see both colors, and it kind of looks like a little flower, just like it still does now, but then you have the bottom and the top. And then again, just making sure we push that other one so we won't let it get squished. We want to make sure they're both kind of pushing against each other so they'll stand up a little bit. Aqua's back. Hello there. Late never. You're just on time. Thank you for joining us. We're doing a blueberry themed wreath today with ruffles. Okay, I'm gonna put our next ruffle down. Turn it so that we can see. Okay, we're gonna go in between our two stems. We're gonna pull to tighten and then twist. And now we're going to gather our mesh. We look for our ends and we make it wrap around so it'll be very nice and rounded. And then we want to make sure that the one that we did before doesn't get squished, we want to lift it, and that way they can push against each other. That way they're kind of lifting each other up. And these, again, in case you just joined us, the Deco mesh is metallic, and they're both the lime green and the blue are cut at 30 inches. Okay, and we're just gathering in the middle to make our ruffle. Finding our stem, making sure we have this pinched in the middle, and doing the same thing again. And we basically go all the way around doing the same thing until we got everything filled in. Okay, wrapping our mesh around, making sure our ends overlap so it'll be nice and rounded, and then making sure the one next to it is not being squished. We lift them both up so they'll push each other up. See, what did let me show Miss Margot our sign. This is our sign for today. Farm fresh blueberries, yum yum yum. Been thinking a lot lately about doing a swag. I did a swag not too long ago, and I actually haven't uploaded the video on that. I need to, because it's a wedding swag, and I've been thinking a lot about all the couples out there that have had to postpone their wedding and not really have a date as to when they might be able to have their beautiful wedding. And it's just been making me think about what we can do to kind of help with that. So I'm going to be giving all of that some thought and trying to come up with ways and ideas to help, where maybe they could have it, you know, they might decide to have it in their home, in their backyard, and still be able to have some good decorations and things. So I'm kind of thinking of those themes. Pretty. Oh, thank you. Okay, so we're going to be finding the ends of our ruffle. And what we're going to do is make sure that they wrap around and they overlap. That makes it, gives it that rounded look. Kind of like here. We're going to make sure that they overlap each other and be rounded. And again, we're going to make sure that the one next to it is not being squished. We're going to lift it up so they can push against each other. Pretty things. So many pretty things. I like the metallic look. It kind of gives it that bling. Makes it shiny. Don't know if you can pick that up on the camera too well though. Kind of keep looking at what it looks like, and I don't know, maybe now there with the light you can see the little shimmer. And both the lime green and the blue do that little shimmer. So it's a metallic deco mesh. I like it too. It's like bling for the mesh, for the wreath. You move this little bit out of the way. Show how to do the ruffle again, just to make sure we capture that. We just find our middle, gonna use the ends of our palms, put our thumbs in the middle of the mesh, and we're gonna walk it through, just kind of gathering the material. Okay, so middle, thumb, and we're gonna gather. So we'll go all the way to the end, and we're gonna pinch it in the middle. And that gives us that look, like a flower, a pretty butterfly. That's what we call it, the ruffle. Ruffle method. We're ruffling it. Ruffle, ruffle. And then we're going to find our stems again and do as we did previously. Just make sure it's nice and tight and give it a twist. Make sure our previous one is not getting squished. And bring our ends around so they'll overlap on both the top and the bottom, so it'll give it that round look. Ooh, I got a test. I'm gonna try to read. Hey, looky here. We have an extra, or did I skip one? One or the other, because now we're gonna have green and green together. Look out now. Okay. I would love to raise one. Oh, you can. Not Trump capturing all of that. Letters are so tiny. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to get me a bigger screen that I can put in here, and that way it'll be bigger font where I can see it a little bit better. Just double checking myself, because normally this is an even number, so I don't know if maybe I skipped one or what happened. Let's see. Because now we have two greens together, and if it was a perfect 10, I mentioned earlier that the outer usually has 10 stems, and I didn't count them because that's the rule of thumb. Let's see, making sure I didn't make a boo-boo and skip one, and maybe I didn't notice because I was talking so much. I don't see anything being skipped, so I guess it just has an extra one, and that's okay. We'll do something different with that. We can work with that. Alrighty, so I'm just looking around just to make sure that all of our mesh is kind of standing up, not pushing anything down, but pushing each other up and gathering all the way around to make sure it all looks good. So this is what we have so far, and there's the ruffles. Okay, so now we're gonna do our inside, our inner circle, doing the same thing. But what I'm gonna do is, and this is something else that you can decide on, you can still alternate. So then you will make, if you have a blue, then you would do a lime green here and then kind of alternate that way. Or, which is what I'm gonna do now, still do the same color going in, so then that gives it that look where it's kind of like a little spiral in a way. You'll see when we're done, but we're gonna go ahead and do another blue and then green and green and so on. So we have like little rows basically of the same color instead of alternating over and over. So you could do either or. Again, no rules, which is one of the things I love about making these. And you can start doing it one way and decide, you know what, I want to do this way. Or you can mix and match and do two different methods at the same time, and it would still look good. Okay, so we got to our stems. Gonna pull and twist so it'll be nice and tight. We're gonna bring our ends around to make sure they overlap each other, and that'll give it that rounded look. Do the same thing on both sides, and make sure that it's standing up. Okay, so just like we did on the bottom, on the ones that were next to each other, we want to make sure we look here to make sure that they're not pushing down on each other. So we want to make sure that they lift up, and that'll make them stand up. I'm gonna have to ask my hubby to help me with the comments, because I don't even have my phone in here. Let's see. I see 22-ounce jars. I really need to get a bigger screen. Okay, so if by chance I don't get to read all the comments and answer any questions, I will check the comments after the video, after we go live, and make sure that I read each single comment and do a reply. So if I don't catch you while we're doing the live video, while I'm working on the wreath, please forgive me and do check back, and I'll make sure to answer any questions and reply to any comments. Okay, here we go. So finding our middle with our thumbs and just gathering. We have our ruffle. Okay, we're going to be pushing up because remember, we don't want anything being squished. Finding our stems. We're going to put that middle that we were pinching on the ruffle right in between the stems, and we're going to pull tightly and twist. And now we're going to gather our mesh ends, wrap it around to give it that rounded look. Okay, we want to make sure we pull up on that one on the outer side to make sure it doesn't get squished either while we gather our mesh. They should all be standing up and not pushing in each other down, if that makes sense. I hope it does. I hope it does. Excuse me. Okay. To show that again, to do our ruffle. Finding our middle, we're going to pinch and gather at the middle. And don't forget, while you're here, if you haven't already done so, please do ring that bell. That actually sends you notifications when we're going live. Click on subscribe, so that way it'll make it easier for you to find the videos later if you want to go back to view them later once you have the supplies to make your wreath. That way you could be viewing it while you're also making one to make it easier to make it. I do have the supplies listed also on the bottom of the video, on the description. So if you click on description, you'll be able to see those. Hi, thank you for joining us. We're making a ruffle wreath, perfect time for summer with blueberry theme. I'm actually using a kit that I've purchased from Lori Jacobs, Hardworking Mom. And this is the sign. Whoops. Fresh blueberries. It's making me want blueberries. Alrighty. So we're going to gather the ends again for our ruffle, making sure that the ends wrap around and overlap each other on both top and bottom. Like I said, that rounded look. And we want to make sure that it's not squishing the ones next to it or the ones on the outside. We're just going to push and make sure it's lifted up. It's better for them to kind of give each other a little push to lift each other. Gives it a better look. Makes it more full. Ah, hope you're having well. All right, so we're gathering our middle, just kind of pinching it so we can get to our stems and place it right in between. Okay, and again, we want to make sure they're not squishing each other. We're going to bring our ends and wrap them around so they can overlap each other to make that rounded look. And do that on both top and bottom. Yay, are we talking to each other? That's wonderful. I hope. Linda, thank you so much for joining me tonight. There should be some polls popping up by now. I put in some polls. Hopefully they'll show up, or probably after the video is over. Let me know what you would like to see next. If you want to see more of the bow making or a swag, or you can put it on the comments as well, and I could always see them later. Just want to make sure that we do the videos on what you would like to see. I know Miss Magua asked about doing a wreath with a dog theme. She's got some labs, so we're gonna be seeing about that as well as doing the wedding motif. Okay, getting to the end of the mesh here. It's curling a lot more, so I'm going to start using something to keep it together. Finding our middle. And just gathering. Pinching in the middle and getting to our stems. Turn it a little bit here so you'll be able to see. And I mentioned earlier that you can do these a couple of different ways. If you want to alternate the colors on both top and bottom, you can do that. Again, no wrong way of doing this. It's all based on what, how you want to work the theme. And here we're going to go ahead and make sure we don't push against the bottom one. And wrap our ends around, overlap them. And pull these up so they can hold each other up. We don't want any of them being squished. Alrighty. Should have one more green to put up. I like it this way too. Like being able to see the kind of like rows. Even though it's alternating on one end, and you can still see both colors. But again, there's no wrong way. We could always switch it up and have them alternate on both ends. Let me move this one out of the way. It's being a little troublesome. Trying to find my little, I think I got them all. Got a little happy. That was kind of fast. I always like checking because sometimes I miss one. So I like double checking. Let's make sure, because I'm kind of cuckoo that way. See, this one's being squished. We don't want that. Okay, we have an extra. There we go. Let's make sure they're not squishing each other. Up, up, up. Alrighty. So here we go. I'm gonna kind of make it go around so we can see how we alternated on the outside, but then on the inside we just kind of kept it the same color as it was on the outside. So inside and outside is the same, so that way you have the little colors, you know, they're still alternating but all the way through. You could also do the opposite and then have both colors mix and match. Alrighty. Get some things out of the way here and we'll start cutting our ribbons. Ribbon cutting. That's how it will look so far. If we were to put the sign on now. Okay, so I always show my startup way of cutting my ribbons. I'm gonna go a little bit more this way so we won't miss it. Until my wonderful perfect tails get here, because I did put them on order. This is how I started doing my ribbons. And all this is cardboard, pre-measured, and then I did duct tape on it all the way around and make sure that I put my measurements on here. So you can measure your cardboard based on how long you want your ribbons to be. Normally I use a 12-inch cut for the wreaths. You could do smaller depending on how small or big your wreath is. So what I do is actually put my measurement on. So I did 6-inch this way and 5-inch this way. So basically when I go around, if I put the ribbon this way, all the way around, then I know I have my 12 inches. Or if I do it the other way, then I know I have my 10-inch size ribbon. So just another way of doing it, so that way you're not having to do one at a time or try to, you know, fight with measurements and all of that. That way you don't have to think about it. You just cut how many you need. And also what I do is, we know that we normally have 10 and 8. Of course, this one has 11 for some reason. So we'll know automatically how many ribbons to cut. So I'm gonna start measuring and getting to cut our ribbon. And then we should have some for a bow, which I might do at a later time. I don't know yet. So there's 1, 2. Let's see. Don't have the perfect tails either. I can't wait to get them. I don't have them either until they get here. They take a while to be made. I already lost count, y'all. I'm just so excited to be able to do this here with you and do these blueberries. Blueberries, blueberries. So I'm gonna count my ribbon. Okay, so we're at 7 right now. And I want to make sure we have 11. So let's see, we have 18, we know, or 19 in this case because of our extra. And I'm up to 7. But I think I'm gonna leave it at 7 because we do have 3 different ribbons. Two lives, woohoo! Go, Miss Linda! Way to go! Okay, here's our ribbons. I'm gonna show you how I do the dovetails. Move this out of the way here so you'll be able to see. Let me get it this way. Okay, so In this ribbon, you don't have to worry about it too much, but you do have the wrong side and the right side, if I can say it that way. So we always want to make sure that our pretty side is facing out. It's just one of the ways of doing it. There's a couple of different ways of doing this. So we fold it in, pretty side out, and we're going to cut diagonally going towards that corner. Okay? And if you have a good pair of scissors, this will be no sweat. And there's our dovetails. Okay, I'm going to do it again on the other side. If you don't have a good pair of scissors and you would like to purchase them, I do have an affiliate link on the bottom of the video. You could always click there. You'll be able to get the same one. These are Westcott's scissors. They're wonderful. I only use them for my arts and crafts. So there's the dovetails again. And there's 7 cut there. I'm gonna go ahead and get our little cuts out of the way. Yes, the Lord's perfect number, 7, number for completion. Yes, ma'am. Okay, gonna do the same on here. And the way to use this, if you want to use this for cutting your ribbons or measuring your ribbons, if you put your measurement on one side only, you'll know which one is your top, your startup point. So if you start there, then you know when you go the way around to the back and you make it to the side where your number is at, you already have 1 cut. So that's an easy way. So that way when you see your number here, you already know you're at 1. So when you go the way around, you don't count there. You will count when you see your number. So now we have 2. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Makes it quick and easy. Just kind of go row, row, row. I'm tearing up my cardboard. All right, let's do some dovetails again. Nah. Oh, can't read it. I did. Oh, this afternoon? Man, I wish I could do that during the day. Okay. Lining up our ribbon, folding it in the middle, pretty side out. And we're going to cut diagonally towards the corner to get our dovetails. Okay, now we have 7 of each of those. Da, da, da. So on this one, I'm hoping we can get 14 and we can alternate because I want to have more of the blue. This is blueberries after all. But we could always do just blueberries with the green Deco mesh. I keep saying blueberries, the blue ribbons. And just change them out. Cut this thing out here. Make it even. Alrighty. Same process again. Gives us 7. We'll see if we'll have enough to make another 7. Just like being able to show the dovetailing in case anybody joins in late that may not be doing comments, so I will know that they're here with us. Okay, so we're gonna have our pretty side out once we fold in the middle, and we're gonna cut diagonally towards that corner to get our dovetails. Same thing again. Voila! I promise that's not on the floor, y'all. I have a trash can underneath the table. I promise. promise, I promise. You know what? I might go ahead and open that other one since it's a smaller. I'll be good. I'll use it all. Why not? Gotta love ribbons. Ribbon, ribbon. This one is the 1.5 inch. The other three are 2.5 inch ribbons. Just love mix matching. And I'm gonna, since this one is on a spool, I'm just gonna put it there to make it easier. Now we're cooking. I don't lost count again, y'all. I'm just being bad. I'm cuckoo and not for Cocoa Puffs. Let's see. Having a hard time reading. Maybe. Uh-oh. Miss Linda, I'm trying to read it, I promise. It's a little bit too far from me, so I'm kind of struggling sometimes to read. Let's see. I asked my husband before if he would like to stay in here with me so he can help me with the comments. I don't think he wants to be seen on camera. Okay, we have 8 of those. We have plenty of ribbon. We might be able to make our bow. Woohoo! Okay, so a couple of things here. Gotta laugh, right? If it's not that I'll be you know, I'll be talking in Spanglish and talking Spanish and nobody can understand me. There's always something. One key thing that I like to always point out when you have smaller ribbon and you have bigger ribbon, try to always have your smaller one on top. Even though you still be able to see them both, it kind of gives it more access for it to be seen. So I always put that smaller one on top. And that's just a tip. Again, no rules, just something I like to do. Excuse me. So once we put them one on top of each other, we're gonna find our middle, and we just do that so we'll know where our middle is when we put it on the wreath. Okay, because we're gonna pinch in the middle. Okay, and to curl it, a quick tip, kind of like if you're doing the scissors with those smaller ribbons, you're just gonna run your fingers underneath, and you could do that on both ends. Doesn't really matter which finger, but normally, you know, depending on how you're holding it. And that's what happens. It kind of, you know, curls it to where it looks like a little birdie. So it makes it easier for when you put it on your wreath. You don't have to do much shaping. So here we go. We're going to start just alternating as we go. No plan because we don't have to be perfect, right? So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to go to our, let me put it this way. We're going to go to our stem again. And put the middle right in between. Gonna pull tightly and twist. Now if you're not gonna put any other embellishments on here to have glue it on or whatnot, and you're not gonna need all that stem, you could fold it in or you can cut it and get it out of your way. So these are my wire cutters. You could also cut it or you could twist them in. Let me show you something different that I like to do. Kind of gives it like a flower look, and this is just the middle of the flower. If you curl it in, just kind of twist it and leave it there, and then push down, kind of gives it a flower look, and I'll show you. For the ribbon itself, a couple of things you could do. You could do both colors, the full on one side, so you have both blues on the bottom, the greens on the top, or vice versa. Or you can zigzag them. Alternate them. You have one to the top, one to the bottom, like so. So you'll have, you turn it, so you have it looking that way. And if you notice, if you twist your stems, kind of gives it like a little bulb look, so it kind of gives it that flower look. So a couple of different things. So you can cut it, not cut it. Lots of decisions, I tell you. That's why I go cuckoo. Okay, here we go. 32. For the screen, the monitor, yes. I need something bigger. My little laptop is just not going to do. Because it's some wording I can read, I can kind of guess at it, some I can't, and it's just not good. It's like, you know, I have glasses and I still can't read. There's something wrong with that picture. It's just not supposed to be happening. And I'm not going to say it's an age thing, because I refuse to say I'm old. All right, doing the same thing again, just tightening it. And I'm going to leave some so I can curl it just like the other. And I also like curling it. If I am going to do embellishments, I curl it because it makes it easier for the hot glue to kind of put things on there. I'm going to still do the, trying it this way, trying to be able to see and show you at the same time here. Going to alternate. And another thing I like to do, and again, there's no rules. If you're using ribbon that has the same color, if you're going to do that alternating, you could always switch it to where your opposite color is meeting that one, if that makes sense. See, my Spanglish just kicked in, my accent. So that way you still have, in this case, blue and green. Because if you do it the other way, then you have green and green. So that way it helps you to mix those colors. Just for the mix effect. Alrighty, we're back to green. So we're going to do our small green with the blue. And you could always go ahead and work on your ribbon and have them, you know, mix match how you would want them. So that way you would just pick them up as you, and they're already ready to go. I'm just kind of, I guess, a rebel. And I don't always do that, but you can to save yourself some time. You could also do your ruffles and put them on the Bodabra. And I'll show you what that looks like. And then put the ribbon in it so it's all like in one step. And I'll show you what the Bodabra is in case you don't know. I'll show you. Okay, so this is the Bodabra. And the ruffles, if we were to put the ruffles, we can put the ruffles in here and it'll hold it in place. And then we could put the ribbon on top of that and put them all out. I should have done that earlier so I could show you. I just thought of that. That's just another tip to kind of do everything at once. Save some time, you know, that lean process. Let's see. How did I do it last time for this? I did do the blue on top. We're going to do the blue because it's blueberries. And our sign has more green. So why not? Just because. Don't forget, we do have the affiliates on the bottom if you need any of the tools that I'm using. We're going to curl our ribbon to make it easier. Pull and tighten. And curl. We see it. Trying to make sure that you can see it on both camera views. All right, finding our middle, and we're gonna pinch it and hold it in place. And curl. Gotta give it some curl. And again, on the positioning of the ribbon, I'm just alternating it and making sure that the colors are also swapped, kind of like alternating the colors, so there won't be two of the same ribbon facing each other. So usually I have the fan on. I have a ceiling fan above me, but it kind of gives it that shadow look, so I have to turn it off. And I tell y'all, I am sweating bullets because I don't have the fan on. And no, I'm not old. Just thought I'd mention that. It's getting kind of hot in here. But this is so much fun. I'm so glad you're here joining me. Almost done, almost. With the outside anyway, we still gotta do the inside. And I mentioned we have a sign, but I want to also mention, I don't always put the sign on because I've noticed some have those magic eyes on their doors. And when you put the sign on it, if they're gonna put it on their front door, of course that's gonna be covering that and they can't see outside. Let's see. I think I did that. Yeah, I did. Okay. Just making sure it all matches. So I kind of have that option, kind of leave that option open, you know, or available. We could do the sign or not do the sign, or do the bow or not do the bow, or do the bow on a different video just for sake of time. Gotta have options, because again, there's no rules. No rules. No wrong way, really. It's all a matter of preference. And another reason for not putting something in the middle, you could use the wreath as a centerpiece. I always like saying that on our when I'm on here live, because if you notice it's on a table right now, you could always put like a flower vase, something that matches in the middle, you know, and there's a centerpiece for a big table. So there's options, but once you cover the middle, that's pretty much it. Uh, 32 inch. Do you use a 32 inch, Miss Linda? Does that work for you? And in the garage, we're gonna have to talk. Glad I have your number. Ooh, hoo, hoo. See. Hold on, even my eyes getting all teary-eyed over here for some reason. Can't make it out. So sorry. I'm not blind though. Praise God for that. Oops. Alrighty then. Okay, we made it all the way around on the outside, the bottom. Gonna start on our inside, and we may have to cut some more ribbon, of course. I feel like going around just to read the comments. Okay. And I have to look back at all of these. Finding our middle. You know what? I think I'm gonna do the opposite on the inside just because I can. Or should I do the green? All right, what do y'all think? I'm gonna try to read it on the comments. Should we do the inside differently than what we've been doing on the bottom, or keep going the same way? I think I'm kind of torn. I like it both ways. I just did it just to see what it looks like, and I like it. So I don't know. Decisions. Do I use... Oh, I love it. If you're talking to each other, yes, go on. I love it. See, if I do it this way, it's gonna match with the bottom. I don't know. I might end up undoing it and doing something different later. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. If we still do the same alternating method with our ribbons, this is what's gonna happen. So if we keep since we have green and green, now we have our same square blueprint right on top. So that's what I was talking about, maybe changing it up. Just because we can. Nothing wrong with it, just like being different. Being different is not being difficult. Just gotta have fun with it. Oh yeah, I think I like that a little bit better. I don't know. We shall see. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. So now we have, let's see, turn it this way. See, now we have still blue-green, and we have our print, but we don't have print and print. That's what I was mentioning earlier. So I think we're gonna try to continue to do that. And that way, if we have a print, it's a different color print. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Love the plate, yes. Me too. One day I'm gonna put kits together and it's gonna be just amazing. Oh, the pretty ribbons. Gotta have pretty ribbons. Ooh, I don't know, might need to change that too. We'll see. We'll just leave it. There's no wrong way. I'm gonna have to repeat that to myself. There's no wrong way. Okay, there we go. Pretty ribbons. Mix match. Just because we can. Again, putting our 1.5 inch on top when we have a bigger ribbon. Love it, love it, love it. Ooh, lots of comments going on. I think I see something about Walmart. I wish we could just talk, y'all. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Let's see. What do I want? I skipped one, didn't I? Because it's not matching. Y'all, I need to get my eyes checked. I just skipped one. And it won't match if I leave this one in there. So I'm going to redo it. Because again, we can. Awesome. Another thought, y'all. I think I mentioned about doing a swag earlier, but how about a garland? Wouldn't that be cool? I keep thinking, again, I mentioned earlier about, you know, couples, you know, having to postpone their wedding and all of that, and I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about that for some reason. It just won't leave me. The thought won't leave me. Just feel bad for them, I guess. Okay, just gathering in the middle, giving it a pinch, and we're gonna curl. Give it a twist. I don't know. I think I like it. I think I like it. Oh, nope. Gotta cut more ribbon. Let's see. We have 1, 2, maybe 3. And only gonna need one more of this one. So I'm gonna do this one first. So what are we thinking? How's it looking? Would you use this if you had it? Would you use it as a centerpiece? I'll tell you the story as to why how I started with this whole wreaths and centerpiece thing. I had a friend of mine that was decorating her house for Christmas, and already had a wreath on her door and still had another wreath and didn't want to put it on the wall. And I grabbed it, and she had an end table, and on the end table she had nothing on it, and she didn't want to put a lamp on it. She didn't know what to do. She didn't want to put a picture and stuff like that. And I grabbed that wreath and I just plopped it on there, and she had a plant, a poinsettia plant just on the side. They didn't know what to do with it. I put that in the middle of it, and voila. It was just amazing how it looked, because it was during Christmas. And ever since then, I've been on this kick about using wreaths as centerpieces, y'all, because it just never dawned on me until then, and I don't know what got me to doing that, but I'm glad I did, because it was really a nice look. It was a very pretty Christmas wreath, and it didn't have a sign or a big bow on it or anything like that. The middle was open, and I just thought, hey, we could do something with this middle. So that's how that came about. Thank you, y'all. I see someone put pretty on there. Hope there's not much of a delay on the comments and me responding. Just thought about that. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay on the comments coming through or me giving the response. So not just because I can't read them all the time. Just finding our middle. Alright, I must be going cuckoo again. I thought I cut 3 pieces, and evidently I only cut 2 sets. So we still need one more set of ribbons. I must have dropped one. Okay, well, here we go. We will do the green with the blue plaid. Don't forget to give me options, ideas, thoughts on what you'd like to see next, if you haven't already done so. Because I'll be looking back at the comments and I'll see what we can do. I know we mentioned the swag, mentioned garland, and I actually did just put some on order. No, did I hit the submit button? I don't know. I've been doing so many things at once, y'all. I can't remember what I completed. That's not good. And Father's Day will be here soon. I made some Father's Day signs to put on my Etsy shop. Still gotta press a couple of them. I'll show you one of them in a little bit. But it was so cute. Okay. We got ribbons all the way around. Here's how it looks. Cool. Now, do you remember we had that extra set of stems if you joined me from the beginning? And we had two greens. See, we had some shoved some of the mesh together, two green pieces together. Can't really tell now. That's why I said it's very forgiving. So there's no wrong way. It'll all still come together. Very pretty. So here it is with the sign. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the middle so we can kind of see, if we put the sign in the middle, what it would look like. We can put it all the way in, or we can put it to the side. So there's that look. We're gonna go ahead and make a bow. Not sure how the time is looking, but I figured since we have all this ribbon, we might as well make a bow. We'll try to do a quick one. Okay, so this is the Easy Bow Maker. There is a affiliate link for that as well if you don't have one. It just kind of helps, you know, because we only have two hands, so it kind of helps to hold the ribbons together. So with us having all the colors mixed together, I'm going to actually start with the green on the bottom because I want to see more of the blue, especially since our sign has more green than the blue. Okay. Like the middle for the sign, Miss Linda? Alright, so I think I'm going to do maybe a 6-inch. A little bit longer, maybe 10. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in the middle for a tail. I'm going to go ahead and get it dovetailed. Don't want to forget to do that. It just gives it that finished look. Okay. I'm going to twist. And I'm going to do a 6. And again, there's no really, I always like putting my finger there to kind of mark it. And then do the twist so you can have your pretty side up. I'm trying to do this upside down so you'll be able to see it a little bit better. This is actually the first time I've done it upside down. I'm not. So we'll see. I'll just keep looking at the camera every once in a while. That's 2. Looks like we might be able to swing 2 and 2. And again, we're going to twist in the middle to make sure the pretty side is up. Now, if this would have had a print, it would be easier to see why I keep saying about the pretty side up. Okay, and on this last one, I'm not going to twist it because this is basically our other tail. And then we can see the length so we'll know where to cut. You don't have to cut twice. You could just cut your tail from there. And save that remnant. They help with the bows. Okay, let's see. I think I'm gonna leave the kind of zigzag it. Same thing with the other one. I'm gonna try to put all the ribbon in here. Looks great. Thank you, Miss Linda. Guess I'm learning. I'm making this next bow just a little bit smaller than the other so we can still see some of that green. And still twisting in the middle so we can have our pretty side up. Ah, thank you, everyone. Alrighty. Same thing here, you don't have to cut twice. Looks rich treasure. Am I reading that right? You know what? I'm actually gonna curl this one, so I'm not gonna do a dovetail because I have almost a full spool here. So I'm gonna make this one longer because we're gonna curl it. Alrighty, and I'm just eyeballing just to make sure that they're both the same size. And I might even leave this one with just the two because I don't want so much green. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna cover up some of this ribbon. This one I do want to dovetail. And I might actually switch it to have that green on top since it's smaller. And don't worry, it's not gonna fall apart because we have a wonderful Godabra to hold it in together. There we go. And although these two are the same, have the same blue, because one is plain and the other one is without any kind of print, it still works. Bow making, woohoo! Let's see, do we have enough to make the two? I'm gonna leave it at the one. I'm gonna make sure we have enough. And we get away with it? we can, woohoo! All right, so that last one we won't do the twist on. Just fold and then cut diagonally. That way you're not having to cut straight and then do the dovetail. Saves you a couple of seconds. I'm gonna grab our green, since it's only the one loop on both sides. I'm gonna have that one longer because we're gonna curl it. All right, so let's see, where are my zip ties? And I need one of these. So this is one of the ways to put this together to make sure that it doesn't fall apart. Use a zip tie, and you're gonna basically just run it through the bottom. And make sure you grab all of the ribbon. And we're gonna do a light pull, not to pull all the way, but just enough to kind of hold it together. And get our center. We're gonna put that towards the back. And we're gonna move this out of the way, just because we don't want it anymore. Okay, so we're gonna move this to the back. And what you would do is, so that you'll be able to tie it onto the wreath if you would like to do that, use a stem, chenille stem or pipe cleaner. We're gonna run that through before we fully tighten that. Oop, oop, oop. There we go. All right, so while we have it still loose, we can go ahead and play with our ribbon to get it in place. And you could also do that while it's still on the Easy Bow Maker to make it a little bit easier. And I like putting my hand in the middle to shape it. And pull. And you may have to do this once or twice once we get it tightened. So you can put it while you have it down on the bow maker. You can do some of the shaping, then do the tightening, and then shape it up again. Just make sure that all of the tails are facing in the same direction. And making it, this helps you with holding it on the back so you can kind of hold it in place. It's still kind of loose. But once you make it really tight, you're not going to be able to move the ribbon. Oops. Did I just go off camera? My bad. And once you like it, once it's all shaped and you have your tails curled, then you can tighten up that. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of that. There we go. And then you may have to do some more reshaping once it's all nice and tight. Now I mentioned about these scissors. Even though it's not a wire cutter, you could also cut through this stuff like it's nothing. That's why I like these scissors. And then you still have your stems to be able to hold the bow and do some shaping. So you have some of the green, but mainly the blue. Oops. It's different doing it backwards, y'all. It's throwing me off a little bit. Okay, so there's our bow, and I mentioned about putting it on the wreath itself. So I'm going to bring the wreath into focus again. So this is how it will look if we put it on. We can do it in the middle, put it on the side, anywhere. And we can use those stems to tighten it onto the onto the wreath itself. And then we can shape the bow again and do some curls of that longer ribbon. Or you can leave the bow separately, and you can give that option. If you do sales of the wreaths, you can always leave that as a separate option for your customers. And we're just gonna curl these in. That's why I left those long. We're just basically rolling it in. Just a little curl. And this one I cut a little bit longer, and I'll show you why. Again, there's no right or wrong. It's all a preference and based on what look you want. If you make the curl a little bit tight, you can then pull a little bit in the middle, the smaller one, to kind of make it do that. So, a couple of different ways to do the curling. See, my accent just kicked in there. So you can leave it all the way in and just let it do its own unraveling, or you can pull it out. And it stays in once you do the tightening it. And then of course we have our sign that we can put on here. So we can put it kind of sideways since we have a bow on top. And this is what I was saying about doing bow and a sign. It might be a little much depending on your taste or your customer's taste. So you could always give them that option, or just leave it without and then have those as an option to add it in. Okay, so we could do it on the sides, still do it in the middle, and then just kind of have the bow tails go a little bit over and just kind of fix them up a little bit. Really, it's up to you. So there it is. Gonna kind of leave it sideways. I'm not gonna put it on. I do usually use the wires to put it on, but I'm still undecided if I want it on or if I want just the ribbon, or if I want one or the other. But this is basically what it will look like if we were to do both. Like it, love it, beautiful. Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you. So there it is, you guys. There's with just the bow, or if we were to add the sign. Okay. I don't know, I'm undecided. Bow, yes. Thank you. All right. Well, this is pretty much it. Again, let me know, thumbs up if you like it. Give me thumbs up on the video. Take picture, both images, both ways. I don't. Okay. Thank you, Linda. Thank you all so much for joining me today, making this beautiful blueberry wreath. Makes me want to eat some right now, so I'm gonna have to see about picking some blackberries. Ah, thank you for the applause. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Magua. Do things on the phone. I can't do all that stuff on the phone. Not an expert. Thank you all. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for joining me and sharing the video, letting others know about it. Hope to see you again on next time. We hope to be again here on Friday, 8 p.m. Central. And I'm going to try to do a sneak peek and do a live maybe on Facebook. So stay tuned for that. Just going to show some ribbons that I got in the mail. I'm excited about that. So until next time, thanks again for joining me here at Especially Made for Me on YouTube. And I will see you again next time. Until then, please stay safe, be safe, and stay